This is the Hope Not Note podcast,
where we answer your questions and share inspirational stories to fill your soul with hope.
Our mission is to empower hope to those who have been plagued by nope.
I'm Dr. Dylan Caswell.
And I'm Brandy.
And we're here to bring you out of the nope and into hope.
Welcome to the Hope Not Note podcast. Who is the best basketball player of all time?
Michael Jordan.
Wrong. LeBron James. Our question is from Jaden, who knows that King James is the GOAT because he says, I was watching the starting five on Netflix and saw LeBron James using cryotherapy. I'm a D1 collegiate basketball player and I look up to the King James, the GOAT. See, he even said it. I'm wondering if you think I should implement cryotherapy into my recovery routine. LeBron James!
Jade, we got a long discussion to have before we get to the answer of cryotherapy. To which I know we won't get into that because I don't think our host will.
Wait, can I
tell that full amount?
Can I tell you something funny that I probably should have told you off the episode, but I'm just gonna tell our listeners.
Before it's happening, let's go. Yeah.
I saw this interview with Sabrina, who's in the WNBA. I think it was Jimmy Fallon, and Jimmy Fallon asked her who her starting five would be, and guess who she said? She said herself. She said Stephen Curry.
Okay.
And Kobe, which doesn't surprise me because her and Kobe had a great relationship.
Right.
And then she said I'm blanking on the fourth person, but the fourth person was Brianna Stewart.
Okay.
Was that her name?
Yep.
Who's from Central New York.
From Central New York.
Yeah, which is where we live.
Yeah.
And number 5 was the Adam Sandler.
Oh, wow.
So now I'm like, should he always be in our starting 5? Like,
wow.
Is Adam Sandler better than LeBron James?
Only if he's playing with his dog Meatball. What a starting 5.
What a starting 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like, that's just, like, you don't bring in King James or Michael Jordan.
No. But
wow,
yeah,
but you brought in the Sandman.
Yeah.
He can hoop.
He can hoop.
He can hoop. Wow.
I want to play against him.
Yeah, I'll take a starting 5 and I'll put LeBron and Michael on it. And just those two, and I'll just be there as a distraction. And I can see them
so
just
starting
taking
3
it
against that team.
Yeah.
Perfect.
That is hilarious. That is good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I respect LeBron. I love LeBron. I think he's a phenomenal player. Michael Jordan's the best.
Okay.
And I'll just leave it at that.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I won't. How many finals did Michael Jordan lose?
Why don't you just tell us?
0.
All right.
0. I'm just gonna leave that there. Greatest scorer of all time? Greatest scorer of all time. GSAT.
Yeah.
So LeBron's the Gisat.
Gisat.
He's the Gisat. Jordan's the GOAT. LeBron's the Gisat.
All right.
Greatest scorer of all time.
Perfect.
Yo, look at the stats. Look at the stat. Yeah, let's look at them. Who got Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, MVP, and Finals MVP?
And won the finals.
Yeah.
Like
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. GOAT. So, but Jaden, I love the question, and I get that people will say, "Oh, it's a generational thing." That
well, even I feel like that because we're 4.5 years apart. I more so grew up. I mean, I'm also a Cavs fan, so I grew up close to Cleveland. I grew up like it's LeBron.
Yeah,
and just like our 4.5 year difference, I think shows that too. Of like, yeah. I'm not gonna say Michael because I didn't really watch Michael, but right. You did. Like you grew up in his hype, where I just like. Yeah. I didn't, and Jaden being a D1 collegiate athlete currently, like, of course he's going to say LeBron.
100%. And I want to be clear, I am not a LeBron hater. I love LeBron. I think if we're talking about the greatest of all time, it's Michael Jordan. If we're talking about the greatest scorer of all time, yes, it's LeBron. But I look at LeBron and I'm like, this guy's great. Like, married his high school sweetheart. Yeah. Like, takes care of his family, deals with a bunch of criticism. Like, came into the league super young. Yeah. And, like, hasn't really been a problem other than a little bit of political statement here and there. But, like, who's not going to do that when you have that platform and you feel like you can make change? I think LeBron is a phenomenal human being. I think he's a phenomenal player. I just think that Michael Jordan's a better basketball player. I would even go on to say that I think LeBron might be a better person.
Yeah.
than Michael. But that's not the discussion. We'll get to the cryotherapy question because that's what it was, right?
Yeah.
Cryotherapy in a recovery
Yeah.
routine.
Should Jaden, as a collegiate D1 basketball player, implement cryotherapy into his recovery routine?
Got it. So I'm going to answer that, but I'm just foreseeing. I just remember teaching students and getting into these discussions with Jordan and LeBron and just illogical arguments coming out. So I'm ready for those to be coming in after this episode.
I think
So
that'd be great. I'd love to debate that.
yeah.
Imagine one of our listeners asks that question.
I've really been considering putting together a detailed presentation on this, but then realized like people already have, so I can just reference
Yeah,
that.
you know how people do PowerPoint parties?
Yes.
That would be your PowerPoint that you would bring,
Yeah.
which
100%.
I respect that.
Yeah. And here's how I would start it, just to get people shooken up a little bit. Honestly,
Shake them.
what was better, the original Space Jam or Space Jam 2? Honestly,
Yeah, the first one.
uh, hands down to me, the first one.
Yeah.
And I went into the second one as neutral as I could be.
It wasn't
It
terrible.
wasn't terrible. The first one was just
I mean, but again, is that like childhood nostalgia?
maybe.
Or is that really
Yeah.
like take two people who have never seen either and don't even care about basketball. Which
Yeah.
one are they going to enjoy? I don't know.
That's true.
I don't know a lot of people that don't care about basketball, so
Yeah.
that would be
Yeah.
tough to find.
I think the second one was cool. It brings in a bunch of like technology stuff, so I could see kids in the technological generation
hmm
of that. But I don't know. I just the first one
Should we get
was
into
incredible.
cryotherapy?
Yeah, we'll get into that now. But off that tangent into that. So I'm going to bring this out to a wider picture, and because Jane referenced in the question that he saw this on the Netflix series Starting Five. So let's just start with that because it's very common that we get questions from high level athletes that see other high level athletes doing something. So then they say, man, maybe I'm not playing to my full potential because I'm not doing what they're doing.
Mm,
They're at the pinnacle, so I need to do everything they're doing to get to that point. And so they watch these series on TV or social media, and what we forget is TV's role is not to let us know if this is a positive thing that should be done.
hmm
Their role is to make it sexy. And what's sexy? Going into a cryotherapy chamber where, they're traditionally at negative 166 degrees Fahrenheit to negative 220 degrees Fahrenheit. And the athlete's in there and, they're getting blasted with this cold air and they're likely like, oh my gosh, like this is cold, like that's more sexy for TV than the other 99% that goes into their performance and recovery routine. But we see that 1% and we start thinking that that's the 1% we should be doing.
Yeah.
And then that gets trickled down into all other levels of sport. So we have to remember that don't focus on the 1% if you haven't done the 99%.
Mm.
And for LeBron, like he's very well addressing that other 99%.
Yeah.
And we also need to go just because what's working for him is working for him. A lot of it can work for you, but not all of it's going to work for you.
hmm
LeBron also has a glass of wine every night.
Yeah.
So should you start doing that as well? Like if we're gonna say we gotta do everything they're gonna do, well, I gotta do everything
Yeah.
that, and then, like everyone's scenario is gonna be different. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, don't just pick the one thing. Like if you really want to be like that person, you need to have the exact same schedule. And even then it's not going to be it's just not realistic to like do all the things.
Yeah, and taking it another step back, like what else is LeBron doing in his recovery routine that I think is underlooked? He has a phenomenal relationship with his wife
Yeah.
and his kids. He loves his family. And like that is his priority
hmm
is the relationship he has with his wife and the relationship he has with his kids and making sure his kids are getting taken care of and opportunities and like that is a main focus in that. And if that's not the case, if you're in multiple relationships, you're
hmm
not prioritizing serving yourself and serving other people around you, like your recovery is going to be trash because of the extra stress that you're putting on, and that you just shouldn't be doing that. Like what are your values?
hmm
And to me, like LeBron has his values figured out, and because he has those values figured out, his actions follow that, which puts him into what we call congruency, which means his spirit, mind, and body are all on the same page.
hmm
if you're not doing that and expecting cryotherapy is going to be the thing that changes that, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to get there. So I just want to put that out there as well. Like, yeah, if you're hurting other people, likely your recovery is not going to be great.
Right. Yeah. No, it's so true. And I think like, when we look at different professional athletes, we need to say like who are the an athlete can be a great athlete, but their values aren't necessarily there. And so looking at the people who do have great values, like that, I think most of the time like they are family people.
Yeah.
And I think that in a lot of ways families can add an extra stressor, but that again, we've said it a billion times, stress is not bad. So that extra stressor has actually taught them how to adapt better.
Right.
And how to prioritize better than someone who may not have that, and therefore their values are even more in line and their spirit is even more filled because they know how to adapt to that stressor and they know the priority of it. And so I think like I'm very thankful for the witness of a lot of family men and women who are professional athletes because I believe that those are the people who have the values that we should be following.
Yeah.
And they're not all going to be in line by any means, but
Right.
I don't know.
There's effort. There's a striving.
Yeah, that's just my little tangent, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah. So at this point, Jaden's scratching his head, being like, bro, I didn't come for all this. Just should I use cryotherapy or not?
Enjoy the banter,
Enjoy the
Jaden.
banter.
Enjoy the banter.
So again, like focus on the 99% versus the 1%. Cryotherapy is interesting, right? Because we talked about the cryotherapy chamber, and that's typically what's shown on TV because again, it's sexy and oh my gosh, negative 166 degrees Fahrenheit. Like there's a like wow factor to it, right? But when we look at cryotherapy as a whole, like that's the chamber, but there's cold water immersion, there's ice packs, there's that, and what does the research show us on that for recovery, right? Not very great. And depending on what your goals are, if you're trying to gain strength, we're now seeing that these cold immersion techniques or cryotherapy chambers that they can delay that recovery process. So like, Jaden, what are your goals? And should this be part of your recovery routine? Well, if it's getting in the way of the goal, then no. And so should it be a on the regular that you're doing cryotherapy chamber? Like, no. No, it should not be. The exception would be, and I mean, you're a D1 collegiate athlete, so you're not playing AAU tournaments on a weekend, or you likely don't have a stretch other than maybe in March Madness where you have intense games back to back to back to back. But if you're in a rough stretch or you have a lot of games in sequence with each other, like a tournament, well, that might make sense to use it at that point as a quick recovery based method. I'm gonna say recovery in quotes.
Yeah.
Because is it actually recovering the biochemistry that's needed for muscle repair and strain and all that? No. Does it help with the perception of soreness? Sure. Is there something to be said about that? Yeah, absolutely. Are there other ways to do that? Yeah, compression boots, massage guns. Like there's other things that you can do that have less of a potential side effect of delaying the recovery process than cryotherapy chambers. It just they become popular, right?
Yeah.
Like back when gosh, was it Antonio Brown was in one and like got frostbite on his foot and had to sit out a couple weeks in training camp. I think it was when he was with the Raiders. And then, we see it on the starting five, we see it on these other shows and it's sexy and it's like, oh man, should I be doing that? Like, no, let's put it in perspective of where this can be used, but also what are the side effects of using it? And are there other ways that you can get that effect of the perception of decrease of delayed muscle soreness by other means that might not be delaying the recovery process? And that answer is yes.
So just to kind of sum up, is the idea, not sum up, but is the idea that cryotherapy or really like ice baths, cold plunges, like anything cold related, or is the idea that that helps with recovery because it reduces inflammation? Or is it just that like it feels good?
So the
Which like it doesn't feel good. Cold doesn't feel good. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I think it breaks it apart into the like what's happening from the biochemistry and then what's happening from the neural system, right? And from the biochemistry, the thought is like, yeah, there's a lot of inflammation because of the amount of strain that you had in training. So if we are able to decrease that inflammation, then you'll be able to recover from that session. But what's needed to recover inflammation,
Yeah.
right? So we need the first phase of inflammation, then we got to get into the second phase of inflammation, and that's where like the recovery starts happening, right? So when we look at this, like, no, we like inflammation is a good thing. We got to stop looking at inflammation as being a bad thing and that we need to get rid of it right away. Like the body was created in a way to naturally be able to heal itself by the inflammatory system, by the immune system. Don't get in the way of that. Yeah. If you don't get in the way of that, you're going to have a better recovery than people that are getting in the way of that. The other side to this is the neural aspect of it, of like it does change perception. It can change, I guess, how tough you feel. If there's something in that of like, yeah, I went in the cryo chamber for 2 to 4 minutes, which is a typical protocol, and had negative 220 degree Fahrenheit air blowing on me. And yeah, I didn't scream, and yeah, it felt good.
Look at
right?
me.
Look at me. Or I sat in a cold plunge for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Ice chunks floating by me. Like,
so
yeah, I did
rates?
that. I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Or I guess what we could say is mental toughness of that. But it's like, again, are there other ways to achieve that? Yeah. Yeah. So does this need to be the method? No, it was overhyped. Cold plunging was overhyped when it came out, and now the research is showing why it's overhyped. So now people are going the other way into like saunas is a big thing now, and lasers and heat,
red light therapy,
and it's like we've been here. We're just in this circle of like increasing modalities to make them look more sexy, but seeing the same outcomes from it over and over again. So
you know what's sexy? The way that God created the human body.
That's so sexy, yeah.
Like, that is what's sexy.
Yeah.
Not these like things that don't work.
Right.
And create this idea that you need to rely on them in order to fill in the blank. It's like, no, half the time it's just placebo. And it's just like your own perception creating that response because someone told you that was the response to get.
Right.
That's not sexy. That's actually like foolish.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
Sorry if that's a little juicy, but like it's kind of foolish. And I've been a fool before, so I'm not saying that I'm like out of it. I'm just, I don't know, God created the human body sexy. Let's like honor that versus
right
getting in the way of it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, and let's just take a general perspective of this because a lot of athletes have heard the sympathetic nervous system, the fight flight system, versus the parasympathetic system, the rest and digest system. So hypothetically, if we're comparing these two systems, which one does recovery happen in? A sympathetic state or the parasympathetic state? Most people would say the parasympathetic state, rest and digest. That's when recovery is happening, not during fight or flight. Your body doesn't care about recovering during fight or flight. It cares about fight or flighting, right?
Yeah.
So what happens when you face an extreme amount of cold? Like, do you think that's going to create a parasympathetic response or a sympathetic response? We have the answer.
Yeah.
A sympathetic response. You're in fight flight. So what you're doing in your recovery routine is adding more strain onto your system. Adding more strain onto your system isn't aiding in recovery.
Yeah.
It's giving you more to recover from. So
that's a really great way to put it.
Just from that aspect of it, I don't get it. And it's like, to me, it's this like wild, wild west of the wellness world of just saying like, this helps with recovery. Okay, well, let's take the basic understanding that you have of science and the two parts of the autonomic nervous system and just ask that simple question for it and then make a decision based off of it. Like, we're giving more strain and there's more. Well, it helps in recovery because it gives you more to recover from. Okay.
I can give you more to recover from without you spending money to go to cryotherapy.
Right. So like, what if we just trained more?
Yeah.
What if we got more jump shots? What if like we got on the bike? Like,
yeah.
There's other ways to get strain.
Yeah, hop on the assault bike and hit 10 calories as fast as you can. Like...
Right. Yeah, and here's what I've seen to work. If you have more things to recover from and you're already not recovering well, you're not going to recover better.
Yeah.
Like you are fooling, quote unquote, because I don't know if you can actually fool the system, but you're fooling the nervous system into thinking that you feel better because of the endorphin release that you get from a sympathetic nervous system response.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's happening. Like that's it. Like
Yeah.
so yeah, Jaden, I don't think that you need to add in a
Yeah.
cryotherapy routine.
It's really not necessary. Now, as a D1 collegiate athlete, the three best things that you can do to aid in your recovery. Number one,
Sleep.
sleep.
Yeah.
Number two, I would say take care of your spirit and make sure that you're kind of we were talking about congruency earlier, but make sure that your values are in line with like who you are and your actions are in line with your values and your spirit is being fueled and nourished. Like make sure that you're congruent. That's going to help you recover more than cryotherapy.
Yeah.
What's the third one if you were to pick?
Fuel.
Yeah, very simply.
You got to have the fuel. If you're putting out 3,000 calories a day and you're intaking 1,500, you're in a 1,500 calorie deficit.
Yeah.
You don't have the fuel to recover. You don't have the fuel to perform. Like you're at injury risk at that point. You need fuel.
Go get some food.
And hey, let's bring it back to LeBron. You see the amount of pancakes that dude eats? Like
He loves the carbs.
he's a beast.
Yeah.
Like he's a large individual that is absolutely chiseled,
Yeah.
but he's not in a caloric deficit
Yeah.
because you need food for recovery that is going to give you the analogy that we like to use. It's like, all right, you have a construction project, right? We have a lot of friends in construction and
Mm-hmm.
contracting, right? So you have a construction project and you have the workers there ready to repair, ready to work, and they're at the job site, and you go, okay, I want you to build that deck. And they go, awesome. Where's the wood?
Hmm.
Where's the nails? Where are the tools that we can actually use to? Yeah, we actually don't have those. Like, how successful is that going to be?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's happening when we're in this caloric deficit, and you're not getting the stuff that you need to recover and to perform.
Mm-hmm.
And I won't go into elimination diets and macros of carbs, proteins, and fats and why you need all of those, but like you do.
Well, we have a nutrition episode from a few weeks ago or last month that
Nice.
he could listen to, and I
Yes.
guess I'll add it in the show notes. So
Ah, perfect. Yes.
hope stories.
Hope stories. You got one?
Yeah,
All right.
it's really simple. But I'm so thankful for the friends and community that we have, and one of the more challenging parts of our community slash friendships is that our closest friends are actually our physically farthest away friends.
Yeah.
Like the ones who are like, who are in our wedding party and just like the people who I think will be in our lives long term, they live the farthest away.
Yeah.
And it's hard for us, but we have to be more intentional, of course, to stay in touch and things like that. And we got to hop on a call with like a group of our friends recently just to catch up because we're all in different areas and different cities and states and things like that. And it really like filled my cup to be able to do that. And so one of the reasons was because it's football season, so we were talking about football, and like who doesn't love talking about football? We love football. But also just like getting to stay connected and things like that. So for me, that was a huge like hope story moment, but also an encouragement to our listeners of reach out to someone, your friends that live far away, get a call with them scheduled or a FaceTime or Google Meet or Zoom or whatever, but just stay connected with those people because they're in your life for a reason. And I know for us, like we just really appreciate the community and yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was awesome. So I think that's a good almost challenge for the week of catching up with some old friends, and we're blessed to live in an era that there is technology as shown in Space Jam 2 that you can have virtual Zoom dates, and yeah, there's something very important about getting together in person, but there's also something special about, hey, you live in a different state, and hey, we can still hang out
Yeah.
and hop on a call, have dinner together, just catch up a little bit. With like all the spouses there too. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't just Brandy and myself. It was like our best friends and their spouse, like
Yeah.
all on the call. So we all get to catch up and hang out, and yeah.
It's like you're having dinner with like a group of your friends and maybe you are, but like it's with a screen because that's a great opportunity that we have. Like you said, we live in that era that allows us to do that. And so would we prefer it being in person? Of course. Is that realistic when people live halfway across the country? Not really. So we're thankful to live in the era that we do.
Yes.
So
yeah, love it. Jaden, thank you for your question.
LeBron James.
LeBron James. Dave, if you don't mind, email us back and let us know what team you play for so we can cheer you on and try to watch a game that for when you're playing this year. But thank you all for listening. Go Jordan, go LeBron.
Yeah.
What would your starting five be?
Yeah, let us know.
Have a great week, and remember, every day is not just a day to be hopeful, but an opportunity to become hope.
The Hope Not Know podcast is meant for educational, informational, and personal development purposes only and does not constitute any health or medical advice. If you're looking for specific advice, connect with us to work with a Hope coach. The Hope Not Know podcast shall not be liable or responsible for any loss or damage allegedly arising from any information or suggestions in this podcast.